Hi, you're in the backyard with me in Zone 5B. It's Colorado Tulips. It is April 19th and the backyard has things really starting to happen. Let me show you. So first, I've got these dahlias that I was growing from tuber. They should be creme de cassis, and I just pinched them within the last couple of days, and then this one last night. Got some sweet peas here that I actually started inside and did not put out right away, but we'll see what happens. It's kind of neat. I just learned about actually germinating these and putting them outside right away, so I'll be curious to see that. This is the peony. There's two in here, and they are, I basically killed them back inside by accident for the most part. Here I've got some lily of the valley. So I got one there. There's one here that's not actually doing too hot. And then the rest of these are irises, which I'm quite excited about. And these lily of the valley are, I popped them in from Walmart. All right, over here, I thought that everything in the pots was dead, just because I had watered them and they got moldy over the winter. But look at this. I pulled out a bunch of the bulbs that were like just seriously moldy. But there's things that are still coming up. I've got some little hyacinth here. Like some of them you can tell, like this one, it's not doing well, but some of them do seem to be doing okay. Probably some of the more daffodil types. In here, look at that. I've got just a hodgepodge of things in these pots. Even this one has some things coming up. And we'll see what they turn out to be and how they do. Same thing over here. I had been wanting to grow irises, and these are some, I got a little tiny reticulated one. I think it's called Pauline. More tulips coming up, look at that. And then over here, I'm pretty sure that these more bushy ones are allium that are coming up. Nothing is coming up here in this front part yet, although I did plant it pretty full. So I'm not sure what happened there, if they're just going to be later, because they did go in at the very tail end of winter. Got a couple of the hyacinths are up. These were ones that were left here from last year. Some of them over there have even split a little bit. Many of these are from last year. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Even a couple of things coming up in this guy. You know, we've just got things happening, and it's kind of fun to see. Now the new swath that was planted here is this part, kind of up until right about there. Probably about the that lilac bush. Kind of from here on out was all newly planted. You can see there's some coming up that are going to be with that kind of mottled foliage. I'm really excited to see a couple of these they've got little pink edges there. We'll see what happens. Those are almost all of those are from the first year that I was in the house. So far, no luck at all with winter sowing. The crocuses are pretty much done at this point. But there's still a few hanging on. Here's a hyacinth that are coming up. These ones, I wonder, those ones might end up being the apricot impressions. I also had put in a couple of general kohlers that are like a dark blue. And those ones are going to be over there. Let's see. You can see some hyacinths are coming up way there in the back, kind of right there. Some of the daffodils are coming back. I put in even more of the species tulips back here. I think more like the lilac, like the Beckerai lilac color. But yeah, doing well. I believe these guys are coming back from last year, and that they are the Apricot Delight. They were what told me that I wasn't like a huge fan of the mottled foliage, but the flowers were very pretty. These ones, all of these that are coming back, those ones are going to be probably mostly pink impressions. I put in some more tulips around here. They're coming up. And And let's see, over in the back there, those ones I believe are going to be some dark red ones. So it's April 19th, and I just sprayed the tree probably a week or so late with my apple scab treatment, because this little crab apple, it's a white one, but it's prone to apple scab, and I had that the first year. So last year, spraying it with the fungicide did work, and the foliage was much better for it over the course of the year. So hopefully I wasn't too late with it. These are all yellow hyacinths that are, I think, what were they, City of Harlem? I'll have to look at my notes, but they're all coming back from last year. And as you can see, most of them are ones that had split. So like that one used to be one, and it's now 3 plants. This one here used to be one, and it's now at least 3 plants. But yeah, it's pretty cool. And there are still a couple of crocuses hanging on. Back over there, I think those are more daffodils that I had put in. Yeah, they're just so darn cute. I'm really excited about them. So there's the swath from this direction. These are mostly splits from last year and the year before. You know, as you can see, I think last year this was 1 or 2, and now it's at least 4, maybe 5. These are, I think, some new daffodils that I had just put in, because I decided, you know, I'd heard about daffodils doing really well for naturalizing, but as you can see, I'm not really having a problem with that. I've got tulips that have like split from year to year. There's a couple of new tulips in here, but most of these are from last year. And you can see another one of those little reticulated iris. It's quite small. It's, you know, 4 inches high, but they're just so cute. So more are going to go in. Here you can see this was 1 at one point, and it's now 1, 2, 3, 4. It's at least 5. So yeah, they do seem to be naturalizing. And over here, this is a very big success. All of these plants I had put in for last year, and they came up last year, and they're coming back. I may have tossed 1 or 2 little crocuses in here in addition to what I had last year, but all of the larger bulbs, they're coming back. I had put in these dark blue or purplish hyacinths. They are all coming back quite nicely. I don't get the impression that they have split like the ones inside of directly in the ground. This is technically a raised bed. Maybe 1 or 2 have split, but for the most part, these seem to be ones that are coming up almost the same as last year. So what I am looking forward to here is that kind of in the front, I had put in some Muscari latifolium. The foliage almost looks like small tulip foliage, as opposed to the more strappy little leaves of of a regular grape Muscari. So I'm hoping that they come up again, and I would like to get more for next year. I haven't seen any of them really come up yet in the front yard or the backyard, and I didn't have a huge amount last year, but yeah, we'll see. But all of these, and you can tell that, especially here in the tulips, that many of them have split. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, just where now it's looking like this one looks like 2. Oh, look, there's even a little bud in there. There's some daffodils coming up from last year. In the back, I think, is where it was much more noticeable that we had like 1 tulip that is now split into multiples. At least I thought so. But you know, we'll see how many blooms come up. I had put pretty much like 10, if I recall correctly. But I kind of put them in rows, and I really wanted to see what would happen with them and what would come back. Some of them here, I don't know if these ones just didn't come back or if they're coming up later, but yeah, but you can tell 1 row is at the very least late, and at the very best, you know, a few of them are coming back split. But more still poking out. It's still quite cold. I think it's probably about 40 degrees right now, 45 maybe, but it'll get warmer as the day goes on. This little dappled willow is now very large. I told you last year about how this one is the same as that one. This one is a monster. It went in the summer before. This one I just put in, I think, not last fall, but the fall before then. So it's only had like one growing season in this location, because it was pretty much dying up in the front yard, but it likes it back here. So this one is now about hip high. This one I whack back multiple times a year, and it's just a gargantuan one now. The little tiny pine tree that I put in from Arbor Day a couple years ago, this winter just totally did it in. And I popped one tulip in the ground there, just to see what would happen in the shade. We'll find out. And then over here, okay, this is fun. These are, I believe, 2 bleeding hearts that I had put in as bare roots last year that didn't really do anything. And then this, I think, is an astilbe. And I had put 2 in originally, but yeah, so it looks like these are coming up. I've got more bare root perennials upstairs, in a closet that I need to put in once I can, once I get the chance to really work the soil and figure out where, and pull out some of my crappy soil and put in some good ones again. But yeah, but anyways, it is alive back here and it's so nice. Still have to clean off these rose bushes from last year's leaves. But yeah, look at that. Thanks for joining me. And hopefully, I'm really hoping that I get some kind of dahlia action this year. A couple of years back, I had thrown a couple, like late in the season, I put a couple of yellow tubers in the ground that I had just gotten on a huge clearance, and they did push some leaves and got like, I don't know, 6 inches tall, and then promptly died, because that is like the shadiest spot, one of the shadiest spots in the whole yard, and wet. So yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll finish up with a little picture here of, yeah, seriously, I think that was 1 hyacinth and it's now 4. Happy